My name is Munir. This is the local SEO guide. Let's get right into it. Quickly, who am I? This is me, Munir. I'm the co-founder and technical director at Marketing Tradesman or Vixel Studio here. Here are my partners, Hisham and Peter. And basically, we started as a web design firm back in 2023, and we placed signs all around the city to get customers like this one, which actually worked pretty well. And as we started helping more people in the city, we realized people needed more than pretty websites. This is us at a trade show. They actually needed a way to get customers from these websites. It's not enough to just have a pretty website. So we spent countless hours learning how to have these websites show up on Google to increase revenue for these businesses. And here's everything you need to know on how to rank in local SEO. So let's jump right into it. We've helped so many people in the past. You can view our case studies here with this link. We've got people ranking on the first page within 3 months. We're getting people getting over 100 leads within 4 months of SEO. This fencing contractor ranked number 3 in 4 months. So we've done it before and it's possible. All right, so let's go over the basics as if you have never ranked anything or don't know anything about how to show up on Google. SEO stands for search engine optimization. And basically, it's just a way to get your website to show up on Google when people search for the services that you offer. Let's break down the different sections that you could show up on Google. If I search for bathroom or Ottawa bathroom renovation, I see these sections over here. So all these say sponsored, and that means that it is a Google ad. So that means that you're paying to show up here. The pros of Google Ads is that you can start getting found here on this section of Google Ads as soon as tomorrow. Like if you're ready to pay and you're ready to pay that, like the fee for Google Ads, you can appear on Google tomorrow. So you could do it as soon as you want. There's no long-term commitments and you can shut it off whenever you want. So let's say it's a busy season and you know that a lot of people in this time of the year are looking for bathroom renovations. You can start to pay for this space to show up on Google so you can start getting more customers. Usually on this section, you show up on Google here with more images and buttons. So you see how this button has call us, or how there's these images here. When you scroll down on the rest of Google, you'll never see that many stuff. So Google likes to add those extra features just for the people who pay them. Those are all the pros, a lot of pros, as you can see. However, there are a few cons. The first is you pay every time someone clicks to go on your website. So right now, if I search for auto bathroom renovation and I clicked on Magnolia, as soon as I enter into this website, it's going to charge them like a few dollars. So every time someone clicks on it, it charges them. So that's how Google gets paid. And that's how the company pays for this advertising. Then it's the amount you pay varies on what Google thinks is a fair price. The more competitive the area, the more expensive. So there's a certain price to show your advertisement here on Google for Ottawa bathroom renovation. But let's say you're doing it for Toronto, which is a much bigger city. Bigger city means more money, more competitiveness. So maybe instead of paying $3 per click, maybe you're paying $5 or $6 per click. So the price can vary. We're not talking about Google Ads in this section or in this video. I just wanted to give you guys, a breakdown of what this section on Google looks like. So if I keep scrolling down, then I see Google business profiles. We're going to be talking about this in this video at the end. The pros is it's free to get clicks and set up your profile. So, there's 3 profiles right here. There's Capital Bathroom Renovation, Geo Renovations, and Ottawa General Contractors. You can make your own profile here for free. You don't have to pay Google anything. And you'll be able to show up here when the user is near you, even if you are near. So this section kind of works based on location. So Capital Bathroom Renovation has an address in Stittsville, Ottawa, Ontario, and I just happened to search for Ottawa bathroom renovation near Stittsville, so it's showing me companies that are near me on the map. It's one of the factors, and it's easy for you to show up here if you have a physical address. But the cons is it requires a lot of reviews to look trustworthy and get more customers. So Google obviously prioritizes people that have worked on their Google business profiles and have put in the work to get high quality reviews. And that does take time. You need to go ask people, you need to do jobs. It's not easy, but if you do the work, it'll pay off. Another con is Google requires a lot of address verification. Basically, you need to prove to Google that you do, operate from these locations, and Google has a lot of control. If they think that you are not trustworthy or they think you're suspicious or you're not actually running your operation from these locations, they could shut down your Google business profile, and if this is driving a lot of business, it could do a lot of harm to your business. And then we're going to be talking about this main section here. So this is called the organic Google result. And this is what we're talking about here about search engine optimization. We're trying to get your website to show up in this section here. And this is what we're going to be talking about mainly. The pros of this section here. So here you also don't pay for every click. So if I click on capital bathroom renovation or click on Beleaf, they don't get charged every time I click into their website. The next pro is most people trust and use this section on Google. Most people that are, mid-age or in the younger, whenever they search for auto bathroom renovation, they kind of may like scroll through this and kind of want to look at these websites here because they know it's harder to get here. These are ads and they know that you can just pay and show up here, but these are usually more trustworthy and these are usually from companies that have been around for longer. So that's why people trust this section more. The last pro is that it is the biggest source of leads and customers. So around 70 to 80% of people who use Google do operate in this section here. So that's why it's a really valuable, real estate on the Google page. If you're able to show up here, it's kind of the big money maker. The cons is it takes a few months, and depending on your competition, maybe even a year to show up on the spot. So it could take a few months or a few years to show up in the spot because it's all based on trust. The next con is it requires consistent investing. You probably have to invest anywhere from, let's say, $1,000 to $2,000, maybe even $3,000 a month for a few months to be able to build up the trust so Google can confidently show your website here. And you only make your money back until you show up here. So, if you have a good company, they'll be able to do it by a certain point. But let's say it takes 6 months to get there and you have to consistently invest $1,000 to $2,000. Your business has to be able to last that long until you see that return. And then obviously the more competition, the harder it is to show up here. If you have a lot of people in your local area that are doing SEO well, that means that your job will unfortunately be harder because you just have more people in your way. This is just a summary of the Google page, how to show up here, and the pros and cons of each. So we're going to be talking about in this video the organic Google results and the Google business profile. So the whole goal is to get new customers by showing up on Google for services that you offer. And as I said, we're only talking about Google business profile and the organic search result here. If you have a good SEO, when someone searches for, let's say, kitchen remodeling near me, your website pops up first, meaning that you're more likely to get the lead and the deal. And SEO, just think of it as a way that makes your website very easy to find. It's like putting up a big bright sign on a busy street so that everyone driving by notices you. So, if you're showing up here and in this section too, you're showing up a lot. So you're getting a lot of that real estate, meaning that you're going to get a lot of the leads and the deals. All right, so how do I actually show up on these sections of Google? And we're talking, again, only about the organic section. So these are the 3 steps broken down. The first step is to plan out all the pages and the keywords, which is just called keyword research. The second step is to create optimized content for each page. And the third one is to build authority through backlinks. So this is just a zoomed out view. We're going to go into each step in depth. So keyword research and planning. What the hell is a keyword, right? So a keyword is what people type into Google when they're looking for something. So if I'm looking for an HVAC repair company, I may type in best HVAC repair near me. So this is one keyword. And if you notice, as you type into Google, it's going to give you other results. It's going to give you best HVAC company Ottawa or, best furnace repair near me. So these are all individual different keywords, right? So there's a whole clump of them. There's millions, if not billions, of different keywords out there. Your goal is not to rank for every possible keyword. You want to rank for the right keywords, the ones that will bring you the most business. Keyword research is just about finding the right keywords that we want your website to show up for, and the ones that is obviously going to bring you business and customers. The goal is to figure out all the services that you offer and where you offer them, and then create a page for each combination. So let's further break that down. To kind of understand this, we have to understand what search intent is. Search intent is all about understanding what people are looking for when they search for something on Google. And sometimes different keywords can give the same results on Google. So let me give an example. So if I search for home remodeling Miami and home renovation Miami, so these are 2 different keywords, these are 2 different searches, but to Google, it means the same thing. They are synonymous. It means the same thing. And because they mean the same thing to Google, if you search both of them into Google, the results on Google will be the exact same. On this photo here, I have home remodeling Miami, and the top 3 results are house, JMK, and MT. And again, all these pages are just about, Miami general contractor and remodeling, home remodeling. If I search for home renovation Miami, I get the exact same results. What does this tell us? If Google is showing us the same page for these two different keywords, that means that we only need one page to target both keywords because, again, the intent is the same. Google thinks that these two keywords should see the same result. So we could just make one page that will end up targeting both of these keywords. But let's say we do a search for kitchen remodeling Miami. So this is a whole different topic, right? If I'm a user and I search for home remodeling Miami, I'm going to get a certain type of result. But when I search for kitchen remodeling Miami, I'm usually looking for something else. It's not the same. Because it's a whole different topic, Google does not show the pages for home renovation Miami. It instead shows specific pages for kitchen remodeling Miami. So now when I search it, I get specific kitchen remodeling pages about Miami. So that means if I want to rank for this too, I have to make a specific page about this topic as well. So I think you're starting to get the idea. Here's another illustrated example with HVAC maintenance Ottawa. So all 5 keywords on the left will give you the exact same Google results, but maybe in a slightly different order. HVAC maintenance Ottawa, HVAC maintenance services, Ottawa HVAC maintenance. These are all different keywords, but it's just all different ways of saying the same thing. And if we search all of them into Google, we're going to get almost the exact same result, maybe just in a slightly different order. So that all means that it's the same intent. And because it's the same intent, I can just make one page that will end up targeting all of these keywords. You don't want to make more than one page to just target the same intent. So let's go back to the same HVAC maintenance example. It is a mistake to make 2 pages that are slightly different but are meant to be shown for the same intent. If I make an HVAC maintenance Ottawa page and then I make another page that's called HVAC maintenance near me, now you're putting Google in a weird spot. You're letting Google pick what page they should show, and you don't want that. You want to just hand Google the one perfect page to it. You don't want it to give it 2 and then have it pick which one. And you're also wasting time. You're wasting time by making this page only for Google to pick the other one. Google loves specific pages because it helps people find exactly what they're looking for. If your website has just one page trying to target too many different intents, like home renovation, if I try to make one page to target home renovation and kitchen renovation and basement renovation, Google won't know which service to show this result to, and it'll end up showing on none of them. So basically the whole idea is you want to make a page for every single intent. So now we understand what intent is. Now, your question is, okay, what pages do I need? What are the different intents that I need to make pages for? So to understand what pages we need to start down by writing all of the services that our businesses offer. So, if we're a home renovation company in the Miami, Fort Lauderdale area, maybe our list looks something like this. We do kitchen remodeling, we do bathroom remodeling, we do basement remodeling, and whole home renovation. Let's say those are the 4 core services that we're doing. So now I have my 4 core services. Now I need to think of the different locations. So think about all the big and small areas that you serve. So for the same Miami renovation company, let's say I operate in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, Florida, Hialeah, and Richmond West. And, if you're struggling with this, you can easily just open the area on Google Maps and start writing the areas or, the locations that kind of have a big title or a big font on Google. So you see here, Pompano Beach has a big font. So, that tells me that it's a pretty big area. Hialeah, Richmond West. Let's start tracking or writing down all these locations. And if you're having trouble with this, here's a GPT prompt I made to kind of help you kind of list out all of these locations from small or from big to small. If you want the link to this document with all these prompts, just check out the link in the description below. So now we have all of the services, we have all of the locations. So now we need to create a map or kind of like a matrix of all the services and locations and see which ones need their own page. Let's say these are all the different services. So home, kitchen, bathroom, basement. Let's say I have these services as well. And these are the different areas, right? So now it's kind of more clear what pages I have to make. So if home renovation Miami gives a specific result, then I need to make a page for that. If home renovation Fort Lauderdale gives me different results than the Miami one, then I need to make a home renovation Fort Lauderdale page, and so on and so forth for all these locations. If the kitchen renovation page for Miami gives different results than the home renovation Miami, then I need to make a kitchen renovation Miami page. If the kitchen renovation for Fort Lauderdale has a different Google result, then I need to make a different page for that. So now you're kind of seeing how many pages we need to make. It kind of just helps us plan. And once you make this matrix, you want to check the intent of each page to confirm that Google is giving specific pages about that topic. So for example, you want to ensure that the home renovation Miami page is giving different search results to the home renovation Richmond West. You'll kind of see sometimes that if the location is kind of too small, it may just show you results of the nearby location that's a bit bigger. So in that case, I would kind of just focus on that secondary location that is a bit bigger. In SEO, the smaller or the less common the location is, for example, Richmond West is, smaller than Miami, the easier it is to rank, so the smaller area you target, let's say I target Hialeah, means less people search for it every month. And because less people search for it, there's usually less competition. And with less competition means it's easier for you to show up, And the opposite is true. The bigger the location is, the harder it is to rank. So if I'm trying to rank for Miami, which is a very big city, more people are searching for it. There's more competition, so it's harder for me to show up. So we're done with the first step. We know exactly all of the pages we need to make. Now it's time to create the content for all of these pages. So this part is super important because Google ranks the pages that have the most helpful and relevant information about a topic. If your page only has a single paragraph about kitchen renovations, but your competitor's page covers everything in detail, then Google will rank their page higher. Google wants to show users the page that answers all of the users' questions. If Google had to pick between two pages to rank for a service, let's say these are the two examples. On the left, we have one page that only has one paragraph. It has a gallery and a contact form. And on the other page, we have, two paragraphs explaining the service. We talked about the process, the benefits, why us, gallery, all this detail. Google will prefer page number 2 on the right because it satisfies the intent better. If I am a customer looking for a service, I may have more questions like, why I need the service or common concerns or frequently asked questions. I am more likely going to spend more time hanging around here, right? So Google will think that the person searching for your service will prefer page number 2 because you just cover the topic in more detail. So now you're thinking, okay, what is the best way to structure all of my pages? So we've tested tons of service pages, and this format is the most consistent in driving leads, and this format is what most people are used to. Let's go through it. So let's say this is your service page. So at the top, we're going to have the navigation. We should list all the key services that we do and have an about page and have a clear call to action, whether that's, book a call or get a quote or something. On the main section, we want to have the main keyword. So if the main keyword is, home renovation Miami, that should kind of be shown in big font. In the H1 tag, which we'll talk about later. If you have any differentiating factors, so maybe, you've been around for 30 years or, you've done over 500 projects, you should show your proof as soon as possible. And that should be in that main section there. Add a high quality image to build trust. People want to know who they're going to work with. They don't want to just see stock images. Stock images is not a signal of trust, right? And you also want to add a clear button. Maybe some guy is looking for a quick quote or a quick price. He just wants to contact or call you, so give him that option. Right after they scroll down, you want to show them testimonials. So again, just showing more proof. Like, you are the man. You are the person. You've done this before. You do it right. People trust you with it, and they should trust you as well. So you need to give that proof as soon as possible. Don't make the section too long. Just show that you're competent and you're experienced. Then talk more about the actual service that you're going to do. So talk about the main problem that you're solving again. Maybe you can talk about your company and why, you're so invested into doing this, how long you've been doing this again. If you have more images of the service or the team, maybe it's for home renovation. You have just a bunch of photos of beautiful homes you've renovated, start talking about that service and even start talking about the pain points, ask yourself, why do people book your services? Is it because they're tired of their old home? You should speak to the users and talk about that, try to have it really resonate with them. Then if you have any offers, you should kind of show them here. So let's say, there's a small $89 tune-up, for a plumber or electrician. You should kind of show that offer here. Or let's say you have some promotion where you say, if you book before the end of the month, you'll pay no tax. Kind of give them some more incentive to book. And you should even put that offer at the main heading too. If you have a service that's very visual dependent, like home renovation or deck building, you should show your work in a very high quality format and give a lot of photos and proof, because that's what people want to see. People are trying to envision what their space is going to look like after working with you, and you need to kind of show some examples that, again, you've done it before. Don't be lazy and use shaky or bad images that are taken from your phone. People are judging you so hard on these photos, I don't even think people understand. And if you have a messy workstation, shaky photo, garbage on the side, not taken properly, people are gonna take that as a reflection of your own work as well. They're just gonna assume that you're just not an organized person, and you don't want that. Especially if you're trying to grow a business, you want to seem like you're the top pick, so you can't compete on price. And if you don't want to compete on price, you have to compete on quality, meaning that everything has to look tip top shape. And I've seen this before. Having bad photos could actually do you more harm than good. So just be careful about the photos. Show them to your friends and ask them for their honest opinion. What do they think of the photos? Then, we're kind of showing more extra detail. Show the clients the process that you'll take them through, just to give them, again, a better idea of what's going to happen if they work with you. Clients want to know what's going to happen and how detailed your process is, right? If you have any other services, show them here. If you have a lot of different location pages, so remember how we had Miami, Fort Lauderdale, all this stuff, I would kind of list out all the locations here and have a button to click into them, just to internally link all of them. We're going to talk about that after and what that means. If you have any frequently asked questions, I would address them here, just to, again, hit all the topics that we need to hit, which we're going to talk about in a second as well. And then some contact form here, make it easy to qualify and have clients reach out to you. And then you have the footer with just more social proof. That's typically the structure that we use to format, all those pages above here. So all these pages should be kind of structured similar to that. Now you know what each service page should look like. Now you're like, okay, what text should I put on these pages, right? And the best way to do this is to model your content on the pages that are already showing up on Google, right? So for example, if the pages that are showing up on Google for kitchen remodeling Miami all have between 1,500 to 2,500 words, then your page should aim for at least around that much. You're not aiming for too high, 5,000 or 10,000. More is not better. You just want to have your content look like it fits in. It should fit in with all the other big boys that are showing up on Google, right? If the pages that are showing up on Google for kitchen remodeling Miami also mention topics like kitchen layouts, or that they offer custom cabinets or budgeting tips, you should cover those topics as well. You want your content to compete on all the topics that they talk about as well. To make sure that your content has a chance to show up on Google based on the pages that are already ranking, there are many tools out there that you can use, like Market Muse, ClearScope, Surfer SEO, or Phrase. And basically what these tools do is they analyze how many words the top ranking pages have, and they'll suggest you topics and keywords that you should include in your content, and they'll usually give you a score. So let's say if you have around 1,000 to 2,000 words and you mention all these topics, you have a content score of 90, meaning that your content has a good chance to rank. If you don't want to pay for these tools, you can kind of use ChatGPT to kind of hold your hand to help analyze the existing content out there and help you write your own. And a small note, if you do use ChatGPT to write content, make sure you add enough detail. Make sure you give GPT enough detail about your own company to make the final results unique. There's this whole concept with GPT that the more unique information you give to ChatGPT, the more unique output it'll give you. So, if I just tell it blandly, hey, make me a kitchen renovation page, it's going to be super generic. But if I tell it, make me a kitchen renovation page, here's my offer, here's more about my company, here's my mission, here's my goals, here's why my service is better. If you give it so much information about you, that means that the final result is going to be tailored to you, which again makes you look different. Google likes human-like content, not copy-paste AI generic text. So we've seen that Google doesn't care if the content was made by ChatGPT. You just don't want the end user to feel like the content was just thrown and made by AI, and you can use GPT to help you make better content. I have some more prompts here. Here's a GPT prompt to kind of help you extract all the words and topics to write about, where you kind of have to paste in the content of your competitors. And then here's another GPT prompt to kind of just help you write the content based on the structure that we talked about before. Again, if you want these prompts, it's in the link in the description below. Other things to check when making pages. So now you're thinking, okay, I just have to write enough words and that's it? The answer is no. So creating great content is just the start. To make sure your page actually ranks on Google, you kind of have like a few other things to take care of as well. So let's go through them real quick. So the first thing is, which is kind of on for most websites, we have to make sure that your page is indexable. Having your page being indexed, meaning you give Google permission to kind of just see it and show it on its website. And that's called indexing the page. If your page is not indexed, you're telling Google, don't look at my website, and then it won't show up on Google. So it's very easy to check this. Just download this Chrome extension called Detailed SEO. Install it on Chrome. And if you see this green box here that says indexable, that means you're allowing Google to view your website. Second big thing that we always see is check your page speed. If your page loads way too slow, visitors and Google won't like it. So just ask yourself, when was the last time you clicked on something on Google and you waited more than 4 seconds to wait for the page to load? Unless you're a patient person, maybe you don't. But I can tell you most people are not patient these days. So you want your page to load like that. So you don't give any reasons for people to go back and click into the next result, right? So people would rather leave your website and see who's the next person, especially if they're just trying to get like a quick quote on something, right? A slow page will hurt your rankings on Google. If you want to test the speed, you can use a tool from Google called Google Page Speed Insights. You can just type into Google Page Speed Test to see how fast your page loads. A score of 80 or higher is good. But as long as a page loads fast and doesn't have any usability issues, you should be okay. Like really, truly, clear all the cache, try a different computer, maybe even one that has slow Wi-Fi, and just test it. Like, are you waiting forever for the pictures to load? If so, maybe, you should do the thing that I'm going to suggest right now, where the most common reason that people have slow websites is because the images are just far too big. You're having images or you have 10 images, each one is like 2 megabytes. That's a lot of stuff for the browsers to download, which is going to slow it down. You can either resize your image, or you can use a tool like Image Compressor, where you can upload your images, have it resize them, download them, and change them on your website again so they load faster. Next thing, you need to make sure your page is mobile friendly, because the majority of the people are just using their phone these days, so your page needs to look as good as it does on desktop on mobile. The best way to check, honestly, is to just use the entire website on your own phone, and better if you have multiple different types of phones. If you have a iPhone or a Samsung, just try it out, test everything. Do all the pages show correctly? Are you able to view, if you click on an image, does it show up bigger? Can you zoom in? Is everything big enough that your parents would be able to read it? Is it simple and easy to read and easy to navigate? Is the navigation button clear, and are you able to smoothly go between all the pages? The best test is to just give the website on your phone to your mom and, see, like, is she able to navigate through it and be able to reach out to you? Just see how she navigates. Next thing, check for broken links. So a broken link is a button on your page that doesn't work and takes people to the wrong page. So let's say, I have this section here. I have kitchen remodeling, bathroom remodeling, and whole house remodel. If I click on bathroom remodeling and it takes me to a 404 broken page, this page does not exist, this is awful. It's awful for a few reasons. One, it's a terrible user experience. If I see that, I'm automatically going to think that this page is a mess and therefore the company's a mess. So it's unpleasant to use, looks unprofessional, and hurts your rankings because Google knows how many broken links you have, and it sees this, again, as a messy website. So easy way to check is to use a browser extension like Check My Links. It's another Chrome extension. Download it, and on each page, you can just click on it, and it'll show you any invalid links that you have. Next, super important, add the keywords in all the right places. So your keywords need to be in specific parts of your page, so Google knows what your page is talking about. So let's look at this example here. This is a page about Toronto HVAC. The intent of this page, as we talked before, is Toronto HVAC. So you see here in the URL, it says Toronto HVAC again. So your main keyword has to show up in the URL. There's also on each page something called a title tag and a meta description. So you'll see here, they added HVAC Toronto. They added those 2 words in the title tag. They also added those 2 words in the description as well. And if you're wondering what the heck is a title and a description, it's these things. So This blue text is the title tag, and this bottom text is the description. So you're telling Google what this text should be, and this text should have the main intent or keyword that you're trying to rank for, right? So you need it in the URL, you need it in the title tag, you need it in the meta description, and you need it to have it show up in your H1 heading. So basically, every page has different headings. H1 is supposed to be your main big heading. And then under H1, you have H2s. And then under H2s, you have H3s. So each page should have an H1. And in that H1, you need to have the main keyword written in that H1. So in this case, this is home remodeling San Diego. This is the main intent. And as you see, they have the text here, and it's in an H1 tag. And in that H1 tag, they mention, again, they're very clear, San Diego home remodeling. Like, make it very clear that this is what this page is about. If you're using WordPress, you can use tools like Yoast or AI SEO or Rank Math. And with these tools, you're able to quickly, change what the title and the meta description and the URL is of the page. Another important thing, there should only be one H1 on each page. If you have multiple H1 big tags or big titles, Google gets confused about what the main topic of the page is. So you see here, with the same detailed SEO Chrome extension we talked about before, you can click on headings and see that there's only one H1 tag. Super important. Just make sure there's only one. And your keyword is mentioned in there. Next, avoid orphan pages. An orphan page is a page that is not linked or accessible or clickable anywhere on the website. So if visitors cannot get to a page just by clicking around, and it's kind of just like isolated on the side, you can't actually click into it, you have to manually type in the URL, that means it's an orphan page. And if it's an orphan page, then Google is not going to crawl it or show it. To fix this, so now remember all those matrix of pages we talked about, you have to be able to click into each one of them. So now you're wondering, okay, like, how do I link all of them together? An easy way to do that is to just have a central locations page that just has all of these pages listed out. This is typically what it looks like. You can have like a small location served page here that is linked on your footer or on your homepage, and it just lists out all the pages that you do. We're doing well so far. 1, we planned out all the pages. 2, we created optimized content for each page. Once you've published all your service pages, you actually will see a significant jump in your rankings. But there's still one last step, which is to build authority through backlinks. When you first publish your optimized pages, you're going to see results like this, where you went from ranking on nowhere, you were not even being found for these keywords, and now you made the specific page super optimized, found on the website easily, and you're going to just jump like that, depending on how strong your website is. So, this example, they were not ranking at all for basement renovation Ottawa because they didn't have a specific page talking about basement renovation Ottawa. So we went in, we made the page. All of a sudden, boom, now they're 13th. Or kitchen renovation Ottawa. Again, they didn't have a specific kitchen renovation page. They didn't have it. We made it. Boom. Now 22nd. Now you're somewhere. Now you're being seen by Google, right? But you're still not number one. The easier the competition is, the higher you'll initially jump. So, kitchen renovation Ottawa has a slightly higher, competition compared to basement renovation. So that's why they kind of jumped up higher there. But this is just the start. If you want to get to the top and get to number one and stay there, you need to build authority for your website. You need to have Google really, really trust your website. And how do you do that? You do it with backlinks. What the heck is a backlink? A backlink is like a vote from another website, right? When one website adds a link to your website, it's a signal to Google that they trust your website. So let's say my website is this one on the right, and this is a very known, respectable website on the left. It could be a news website, it could be like a huge blog website, and let's say they made a page and then they linked out to your website. They said like, oh, thank you for this person for writing this blog for us. Here's their website. And they linked to your website. And if you click on it, it takes the user to your website. So now this is a link to your website. If Google trusts this page on the left a lot, it has a high domain authority, which we're going to talk about on the left. Now Google trusts your page a little bit more, raising the, trust level of your website a bit more. This is how it works. You need to get links from other trustworthy websites that exist on the internet. So this is an example of what it could look like in real life. So this is CTV News. This is a news network here in Canada. And they had an article that talks about the different restaurants. In this article, they linked out to what the restaurant is. They linked out to the website for Arome. They said it's a great romantic hotspot. They linked out to it, right? So what's happening here? So CTV News added a link to the restaurant called Arome. Google notices this. Google sees everything. They notice this. And they recognize that by doing this, CTV News is vouching for Arome. And Google trusts CTV News because it's been around forever and it's a news network. So that means it has a high domain authority. It has a big authority in the space. And if CTV trusts Arome enough to add a link to their page, because Arome can't just go in and forcefully add in the link. CTV News has to do it on their own accord, right? So if CTV trusts Arome enough to have the link on their website and Google trusts CTV News, then Google will also trust Arome a little bit more because CTV News trusts them. And now that Google trusts Arome a little bit more, it will rank higher. It'll show up higher on Google. And this is how Arome will be shown higher on Google. This is the whole process. Every website or a domain has a rating of how trustworthy it is. And this rating is called domain authority. So if you have a high domain authority, that means your website is trusted by Google, so you have a lot of power. If you have very low domain authority, that means your website is not trustworthy because you don't have a lot of high quality links. When you get links from high domain authority websites, your own domain authority goes up. The higher your domain authority, the more you seem trustworthy to Google, and the higher it will rank on Google. And you need to keep this in mind. This is a good reminder. Google's big goal is to never have Google results show scam websites. If you searched for bathroom renovation Ottawa in that first example, and the first 5 websites were all scams. It's all people running terrible businesses that just take your money and leave. This is a terrible scenario for Google, because if Google shows too many scam websites, then people will not use Google anymore. They'll be like, Google just has a bunch of scam websites. I'm not using it anymore. So Google doesn't want that to happen. They want people to keep using that. If they want people to keep using it, then they need to have some filtering mechanisms to know which websites are legit and which ones are not. And the only way they were able to do this is to just see if other trustworthy websites like CTV News, other organizations that they kind of seen for a long time and trust, link out to you. Because it's very hard for a scammer to get a link from a high authority news network. They're not just going to hand those out for free. You probably have to build a relation or build a reputation or get in front of the camera. You have to do a lot of work. Here's another example. Let's say there are 2 contractors in Miami. One of them gets a link from the Miami Chamber of Commerce. They went, they signed up, they paid the fee. Maybe that Chamber of Commerce, verified their business or something. Everything got approved. Now they're there. Now they have a link that says visit the website. This is now a backlink from the Chamber of Commerce to that person's website. It now exists. So let's take this backlink and compare it to this other backlink where it's just a link from a random blog in an unrelated country. This is clearly not English. It's probably Russian or something. And there you go. Your link is there. That's technically a backlink, right? Google will trust the first website much more because the link is coming from a well-known and trusted source. Google trusts the Miami Chamber of Commerce. It knows it's a high authority. It knows it's a trusted organization. Google doesn't know what the heck this is. So it's not going to trust this link, but it's going to trust this link a lot more because it's coming from a big, trustworthy organization. So Google is not stupid. They are able to tell good links from bad links. If Google has enough evidence to believe that you are trying to manipulate the Google results by buying fake or spammy links like this, they will penalize you and mess up all your rankings. So let's say this is your website and you just have so many, spam websites linking out to you. You just search buy backlinks on Google. Some guy is selling 5,000 backlinks for $10. You buy it. Boom. Now you just have thousands of just these random spam websites pointing to it. Google's like, okay, whoa, what's happening here? Then they're going to be like, okay, yeah, this guy probably bought backlinks from scams. He's trying to manipulate me. Let's just have his website just not even show up on Google, because it's a safer risk for them. Your goal is not to go for just any or just like a vast number of backlinks. You want to go for high quality, trusted backlinks from normal looking websites. When your website exists out there on the internet, you will naturally just get random, weird, toxic links. So, everyone has a certain amount of random backlinks. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to buy more to just invite more to it. And what you want to do is just spend your effort on just getting more high quality links, instead of just trying to remove all the bad or getting more bad. Just focus on just getting more high quality ones, and Google's going to notice those. That's the best way to spend your time. What is a high quality backlink? So as we kind of talked about before, the person who's vouching for you matters. If you're looking for a contractor and a guy who you don't trust recommends you a friend, you're not going to hire that contractor because you don't trust that friend. But if a friend who's trustworthy and honest recommends you someone, then, you will trust that recommendation, and Google is the same way. It's only going to trust you if someone trustworthy and someone related to you links out to you. To rank higher as fast as possible, your goal is to get 2 types of links, especially for local SEO. You want to get links that are related to your local area. So if you're based in Phoenix, Arizona, you want to try to get links from websites that are based in Phoenix, not Russia or whatever. You want to get as much locally relevant links as possible. So then maybe that's Phoenix blogs, Phoenix news, Phoenix organizations. Maybe there's a Phoenix Chamber of Commerce, or like maybe you're a plumber and there's like a Phoenix Plumber Association. Like try to get featured and linked on all of these websites, right? And then the second type of link is you want to get links that are related to your industry. So if you're a home renovation company, try to get featured on blogs about home renovation, or renovation associations, anything remotely related to your business, even if it's broader like construction. Try to get featured on it, right? The more related, the better. So, if I'm a plumber and I get a link from a plumber blog, that's like amazing. If I get a link from just like a home improvement website, it's not as good, but it's still really good. It's better than just a generic website that's about anything. So a link from a local website with a low domain authority, remember we talked about domain authority before, will do more for your SEO than an international website with a slightly higher domain authority. So if the domain authority of a local website is like 5, but you could get a link from a general international website where the domain authority is 10, that first one with 5 is going to do much more, just because it's so much more related to what you do. And Google sees that. It doesn't just look at just the domain authority. It looks at like how related are these 2 topics, and does it make sense for this website to link out to you. You get these links by doing outreach, finding potential prospects, talking to them, emailing them, and trying to get them featured, or trying to get you featured on their website. Why do backlinks matter? It matters because if you were to copy the exact same website as the person who's ranking number 1, you have the exact same layout, exact same content, the exact same everything, you won't outrank them. And it's because they have done the work of getting links to have Google trust them. And likely their website has been around for a long time. Like the duration of how long your website has existed for. If your website has existed for 10 years, then it means you're probably not a scam. And remember, we said the whole point of Google is they don't want to show scams, right? But if you have a brand new website, it's going to take a bit longer for you to build up that trust. You will need more links faster. To prove this, you will almost always see a correlation between how many different websites link to you and what your rankings are. So as the number of domains or websites link out to you, the number of pages that you have, or the number of pages that rank, also increase. So here, this blue line is just how many websites link out to them. So, they went from 4 to 20, and you see the number of pages that were ranking went from 15 to 50. So you see there's a correlation there. Here's like another one. Blue is referring domains went from 25 all the way to 76. And again, the number of pages that were ranking went from, a bit under 50 to almost 100 now. And, same thing here, right? If you do not get more links from more websites, don't expect anything to change. If anything, you're going to go down because someone else in your area may be doing this. So if someone else who is lower than you is starting to get links and he's doing that work, he's going to overtake you, pushing you further down. So is that it? I just make pages, I have optimized content, and I just continuously get links. Yeah, that is pretty much it. You will need to continuously get more and more backlinks until you finally get to that number one spot. And this is why it takes months. That's literally it. Like, you can publish the page in month one, have it optimized. What do I do for the next 5 months? Just get links. Like, just get so many. Like, make it like a huge gap between, you and your competitors. And the longer you do this consistently, the bigger the gap you'll create with you. So, once you rank to number one, you don't want to just stay there. Because right now, if it took you 6 months to get to number one, that means that the gap between you and the number two is probably very little. You should probably keep doing it so that the person who's number two has an even harder time to beat you, right? So as long as the page is set up correctly, there's good content, the only thing you should be focusing on is just getting more links. And people don't do this because, one, they don't know it, and two, it's not easy. You don't know where to get the links from. You don't know, like, do I have to pay? Do I have to do this? I don't know what to do. So it's not easy to find what backlinks to get or how to get them or from where. And finding good quality ones is even harder. There's only like a certain amount of like locally relevant websites, or how many like plumber websites or construction websites can I find out there. So it's a game at this point. That was everything about organic local SEO. I'm going to be quickly talking about this section here called the Google Business Profile and the few things that you can do so this section shows up here. Let's get right into it. You can get an astounding amount of calls and leads from the section if your business shows up here. People like to refer as a Google Map Pack. And here's what you can do to ensure that your Google Business Profile listing appears on Google so you can get more customers. I'm going to start you off as if you don't know anything. Google Business Profile, this is the name of the service to list your business for free. So this is a Google Business Profile. This is a Google Business Profile, and this one is also a Google Business Profile. So a lot of people are using Google, so it's definitely a good idea to have your website listed there, get your own profile. You can click on this link to start your own Google Business Profile, right? This is what the page looks like. Here are the most important things to do once you've created your Google Business Profile. So first thing is to just add an address. Remember the whole thing we talked about where Google doesn't want to show scams, right? And if you're a scammer, you probably don't have a physical location or a presence in that area. So what does Google do? It asks you to see if you have an address there. When you first create the account, you'll have the option to add a location. Use whatever address you have access to, whether it's your home or something, and provide that to Google. Because again, Google trusts businesses that have physical locations in the area that they serve. You can add in your location, but then choose to hide it publicly. Depending on where you're located, Google sometimes asks to verify they actually operate from there. So, if I'm trying to make a Google Business Profile and it's in like the heart of downtown Toronto, because this is such a competitive area and Google doesn't want to have spams, they're going to ask to verify your location. So these are the three options. If your address is in an area that's not very competitive, they'll just approve your address and won't do anything. If it's like kind of like in a medium zone, sometimes it happens, sometimes not, they'll send out a physical mail to that address, ask to wait like a week or two, and then they'll ask for that code in that mail. If you're a scammer, you don't have access to that code because you don't live there, so then you won't be verified. And then the last one is they'll ask for a video of you physically at that location, showing proof that, you operate there, you have equipment, you have business cards, all this stuff to actually see that you work from there, right? And again, the more competitive your area is, the harder the verification method that they'll use. Having your location is extremely important because Google uses the exact customer's location and will prioritize Google Business Profiles that have an address that are near that customer. Let's look at this example. I searched for home renovation and I'm located on the west side of the city. It prioritizes, you see all these red dots. It's prioritizing all the Google Business Profiles that have an address near my location. Prioritizes them first because my location is there. Even though the main city hub is here, it's prioritizing these ones here because that's where my location is. Even if you're in an area where it's not super populated, but because you have a Google Business Profile there, you're just going to naturally just start getting people seeing you there. Second thing, primary business category. So your primary Google Business Profile category, this thing here, tells Google what your business does. And this has so much influence, right? And it seems simple, but there's almost 4,000 categories on Google. So you have to be very careful which one you pick, So if I'm a company who specializes in kitchen renovations, I should choose the kitchen remodeler one, not a generic construction company or general contractors, right? You need to be super specific about this, right? So to figure out what my primary category should be, just search on Google for your main service and see the primary category that shows up on the highest ranking people. So if you're trying to rank for kitchen renovation auto, and that is your main service, then you should ensure that kitchen remodeler is your primary category. It's the most specific. You can have much less reviews, but if you have the right category, you'll rank higher. So this guy here, Geo Renovations, he has a location close to me, and he has a right primary category, so he shows up first, even though he has 12 reviews, and these guys have like hundreds. So he's getting business. 3, keywords in your business title or your business name. So this is the actual name of your business. So if you have the main keyword in your business name, you're more likely to show up. Let's say I do bin rental, and my company is now just called Al's Company. It's called Al's Bin Rental Company Miami. It has the main keyword, Bin Rental Company Miami. And because that keyword is in the name of the business, you're just going to show up higher because you have that keyword in your actual name. This is sometimes a bit tricky, and there are many new businesses out there that intentionally add the name of their service and city to their business name just to take advantage of this. You can attempt to change it by just adding like the name of your business dash, home renovation Dallas, but it could get denied because Google obviously knows about this, and you can only dispute it if you have a document from your city that says you can operate with this exact name. So if Google thinks that this is, trying to manipulate it too much, if you provide them a certificate of corporation saying, hey, no, I am certificate or I'm certified by the state of Florida to operate under this business name, you pay for that license, then Google can't say anything because that is your actual business name. Next, high Google ratings. The higher your rating on Google, the more reviews you get, the better you'll perform on Google Map Pack. There's no surprise that the people that rank up high here have the most reviews. It's literally in almost perfect highest to lowest order. You'll see some discrepancies, but yeah. Even if you rank second or fourth, if you have more reviews, you will still get more clicks because you just look more trustworthy. If this company, Allied Kitchen and Bath, was third, users will still prefer to go on their website just because they have like double or triple the amount of reviews. So it just seems like it's a way more trustworthy company. So you always just want more reviews and more social proof. So for small or big jobs, customers just want to make sure that the job just gets done properly. And you need to show that you have the expertise, and you do that by just getting a stupid amount of reviews. A simple way to just get more reviews is to just ask people. I don't think people do this enough. If you don't expect to get hundreds of reviews if you're not even just asking for it. And another thing to do is to try to have them actually mention the specific service and try to write in more detail of what you actually did for them. It just provides more proof of what you did, and you look less like a scam. You also want to respond to every review, good or bad. You want to thank people for the positive review, and people want to see how you handle the negative ones as well. Do both. Next is additional Google Business Profile categories. So these, you have your primary category here, and you can add a bunch of these additional ones. You want to include every single service that you offer, even if it's not your main service here. So if you want to find out what it is, go through all of your competitors, and then go to the services section here, and you're going to see a bunch of other services or categories that you can add as a subcategory for your Google Business Profile. Next, create an optimized business description. So your business description tells Google and potential customers what you do and where you operate. You should be mentioning your main keywords in here. So we talked about all of our services and where we do this. So, include keywords that people search for, like kitchen remodeling Miami in the description. You want to mention the cities or the counties that you serve. Next thing is adding photos. It's not a huge ranking factor, but it just adds a lot to just making you seem like a good company. Because this is usually going to be, again, the first impression that people have of your business, and it will dictate whether they'll reach out to you or not. Are your photos blurry, messy, low quality, or are they professionally taken and clean and tidy? Props to this company here. They have clean, tidy, professional photos, whereas this company has no photos, no reviews. It's just a photo from Google Maps of their building. Does not look trustworthy or appealing at all. So yeah, people would much rather entertain this. Your goal should be always to continuously get more photos and projects of your jobs and update your Google business profile with these photos. You want Google to know that your business is alive and constantly being updated. So that was a long guide on everything. I can assure you, if you do all of these and you continuously get backlinks for the next 6 months, you will rank and you'll crush your competitors, and you'll make a stupid amount of money. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Send me an email, DM me, do anything. I'll try to get to you as soon as I can. And I'll see you guys in the next one.